All right. Man, this coronavirus is it's crazy, huh? I don't understand. I just want this thing to go away already. I feel terrible for some people. I feel terrible for the elderly people. They can't really leave their house. They're afraid to leave. They're afraid to leave their house because God forbid they get sick. New York is it's just a shit show. It's just insane, and people are losing their jobs. You know, I got a buddy who just lost his job last week, and I've got some friends who are small business owners that they're like, I got 2 months of rent left. There's one saying, the other one's I got 3 months of rent left, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I guess it's a perfect time for this video then, because I'm gonna talk about how you can become an adjuster. Greatest job in the world. What's up, advocates, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Claims Show. I'm your host, Vince Perry, licensed and certified adjuster in the state of Florida, the state of California, and the state of Texas. Thank you very much. So that's why I wanted to come out with this video. I just went through getting my public adjuster's license in Texas. So now I'm going to try to explain to you all how to get your public adjuster license in Florida, basically, and sort of the steps you have to go through. Really, hold on, a round of applause real quick, because we got over 500 subscribers now. How crazy is that? I never thought that when I started this I'd be able to get there this quickly. In 6 months we've got exactly 504 subscribers. 504 in 6 months. That's awesome. And if you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button below. Click the little bell icon too, because the bell will give you a notification whenever we have a new video. And let me tell you people, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Last week we had a killer webinar, 73 people live and watching. And if you didn't catch it, don't worry, look below the video, right below this one. You'll see the webinar's up. It's a good hour and 12 minutes. You'll get everything that we had during the webinar. You'll get it right there. Super cool stuff. My 3 secrets to becoming a successful public adjuster. And in 2 weeks, well, next week we launched the website, so that's exciting, commercialclaimsadvocate.com. You'll be able to see all the content right there, sort of a step-by-step way to you can really get the content and get all the information you need. And in 2 weeks, are you ready? The Claims Game podcast, baby. I'm so excited. It's going to be interviews, only interviews, where I'm going to go one-on-one with just everybody in the industry. Attorneys, general contractors, other public adjusters, independent adjusters if possible, and company adjusters, whoever. I just want to interview people in the industry. It's going to be very informal, just us talking, having a good time, talking the biz like if nobody else is around except you guys listening. And it's going to also be put on YouTube too, so it should be pretty cool. All right, so today let's get right to the point, right? Too much babbling. Yeah, how to become a public adjuster. It's, in my opinion, it's the greatest job in the world. But here's the thing, is you gotta have the personality for it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I've got this endless drive. It's just crazy. Sometimes people think that there's something wrong with me. But you know, I always wanna go out there and hustle and hustle and hustle. And that's not to say you're not a hustler or whatever, who is or who isn't, but it does take a lot, because if you have a family and you're looking for some income quickly, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna take some time. If you have the capability, let's say, I mean, if you're in your early 20s or something like that, mid 20s, you don't have a family yet, you might be still living at home with your parents, and you could afford to just struggle for a while, perfect job for you. But like I said, if you're already a little bit older, if you're one of these people now because of Corona, you're on the brink of possibly losing your job, then I might actually recommend that you go the independent adjuster route, which is also a great job as well. And a person that you guys could look at, I'm going to put her YouTube channel here, is Ebahi. Ebahi's fantastic. We had an interview. She interviewed me last week. Really cool. It's on her YouTube channel. But she's an independent adjuster who also is now a public adjuster. But all her videos are really geared towards independent adjusters. I think she's got some videos on how much you could make and so on and so forth. So check out her channel, and I'll leave the link in the description below, and you could really find out sort of how to do all that stuff, because it's consistent income, okay? And I hate to be so certain about these things, but it's recession proof. It's almost, this job, being an adjuster, is almost recession proof, because there's always going to be people that have losses. There's always going to be a pipe that bursts, a water toilet that backs up, a water heater that breaks. There's going to be a hurricane eventually, or there's going to be a hailstorm or a strong windstorm or a tornado. There's always going to be natural disasters and losses that occur in people's homes and buildings that, you know, frankly, whether there's a recession or not, the loss happens. So, you know, it's a great job. And I've already tried to convince my one friend who's kind of lost his job, and hopefully he really starts thinking about it. Funny thing is, real quick before I get into the steps, in 2008, well, here's step one. You need to get your 620 license, okay? Here's step one, 620 license. And you can do that online or in person. The story I was getting to is I did it in person back in 2009, I think it was. And this is right after the crash, right? 2008, 2009. And my class, I remember, was filled with real estate appraisers and mortgage lenders, because they were done. They had no more job. They didn't know what to do, so they decided to go the adjuster route. And I have a feeling this is sort of a similar eerie time, right? Where a lot of people are gonna be losing their jobs, unfortunately. And I have a feeling in these courses, although a lot of them are online now, you're gonna probably be finding a lot of people who are just looking for a different route. Because like I said, it's a great job, and it's almost recession proof. So in order to become a public adjuster in Florida, you have to get your 620 and your 720 first. And in order to do that, you need to apply for a course. And that course takes anywhere from, I don't know, depending on how fast you do it online, but it's basically modules and modules and modules, and a step-by-step sort of classes that you have to go through. You have to go through auto and commercial and watercraft and all kinds of stuff, all the whole thing of insurance and insurance policies and coverages and deductibles and exclusions and so on and so forth. And you have to pass that. So I'll give two recommendations. One that I use for the Texas is insurance-schools.com. So that worked for me well. I have a buddy who's coming on the team now. He's doing insurance-schools.com, and I have another friend who did adjusterpro.com. So check it out there. You can check out Adjuster Pro. I think Adjuster Pro is a little bit more expensive than Insurance-Schools. He said Insurance-Schools is about $170, and you have to go through all the modules. And then what's most important is you have to take sort of a test at the end. But all it is, it's a test. I think it's about a 100-question test, and it's just to give you a certificate to show that you completed the course and you were knowledgeable of everything that the course provided. With that certificate, you go to step 2, and you have to do an apprenticeship. Okay, back when I started, it was a year-long apprenticeship. Now it's only 6 months. Be sure when you do the apprenticeship that you find the right people to do it with. You want to find a good company. You don't want an absentee owner. You want an owner that's involved. And if it's not the owner that you're dealing with, at least if they're assigning you an adjuster to go with, have someone that's there for you on your side, answering your phone calls, and that you could shadow. Because when you're an apprentice, you can't sign any new claims, unfortunately. You're not allowed to sign any claims. So as an apprentice, you want to make sure that you are just getting the knowledge that you need in order to do it. The other thing is, you're an apprentice. You're going to probably start letting people know about your new occupation and what you're doing. So you want to make sure that if you do get some referrals, since you can't sign the claim, that you're referring it to an adjuster on the team who's going to handle the claim accordingly and the way he's supposed to. So make sure you find a good company. I would suggest trying to find somebody that you know. Some try to keep it, and maybe if you could interview or just have a conversation with 2 or 3 of them, and then you pick which one you think is best. We are at Key Biscayne Claim Adjusters taking apprentices now, so if you want to go ahead and apply, feel free. Just send me a message and I'll hook you up. But that being said, you got to do the 6-month apprenticeship. After you do the 6-month apprenticeship, step 3 is you have to sign up for the exam. And usually that's a Pearson VUE Center. They have them all over the country. They're fantastic. The Pearson VUE, you just go online and you could just, right there, you could schedule it and schedule it for whenever you want. And you have to basically study, all right? So get the study materials as much as you can. Take a lot of practice courses. I believe, correct me, I might be wrong on this, but you could go back to insurance-schools.com and you could basically get another like sort of set of modules and practice exams. And my advice to you would be to study, because the test is not easy. The way I studied for it is I made sure that about 2 months before the test, I was doing an hour a day, 5 days a week. And I would always do 30 minutes of the modules and 30 minutes of the practice test questions. Very important to do the practice test questions. Practice test questions, you could do it on your phone too. Even like while you're in bed at night, you could just start doing and knocking out some questions. But make sure you study. Put in the hours to study. About a week or two before the exam, I kicked it up to an hour to 2 hours per day. Just to make sure I would just find the time to just answer the questions, sit down, do the modules as much as possible. I ended up taking probably like 9 or 10 practice exams before I even took the exam. And honestly, I never got more than a 75. But once I took the exam, I got an 85. So not too bad, right? I actually did better than I was doing. I felt that the actual exam was easier than the practice exams. So how about that? And then that's it. You take that Pearson VUE, you pass it, and don't be ashamed if you don't pass it. I didn't pass it the first time. Back at 12 years ago, I did not. I got a terrible grade the first time. I had to retake it again. California, same thing. I did not pass the first time. I had to retake it again. Texas, I got it on the first one, thank God. So don't be discouraged if you fail. You could always take it again. I think it costs a little bit more money, but it's not like crazy. I think it's like 50 bucks or 75 bucks you have to pay to take it again. And then that's it. My advice is after you do pass this test, make sure that you've already got the right firm. I don't think you're ready to go out on your own after you get your official license. I think you should wait. And here's the other thing is you want to make sure that you find a good company that's going to pay you well. So my story real quick was basically, my battery's dying now. Oh boy. My story real quick was basically I worked for a company for 1 year, and after the year, they wanted me to sign a non-compete, and I showed this non-compete to other people and other attorneys, and they all advised me not to sign it. So I left. So now I was left, and I was not ready to start my own firm, and I ended up joining Key Biscayne Claim Adjusters. And long story short, now 10 years later with them, or 11 years later, we're all partners in the company. And I never actually went out on my own. So for those of you that think it's just my company, it's not. We are partners in the company, and well, it's 3 of us, and it works out fantastic. I love it. Why? But I'll tell you why too. When he started me, when I was first working, before I was an actual partner, I was getting a nice percentage, and that percentage was moving up, and then I was doing the math. It would cost me more to go out on my own than it was for me to stay giving a little bit of percentage of my claims. And now, like I said, long story short, we're all partners, all owners in it together. But you know, sometimes being out on your own is not what you want. It's nice to have a little team that you could work with, feed ideas off, ask questions, the other people with different experience. So don't think it's all about going on your own. If you could find a good public adjusting firm that gives you a nice percentage, and I'll be honest, I think when you start as an apprentice, I think you should start at about 50%. That's just me, so I'm sorry other public adjusting firms if I just crushed you if you're only paying 33 or if you're only paying 40. That's just my opinion. So feel free to comment and you know, ream me out if you like. My apologies if I called you out, but that's just what I think. If it's less, at least if it is less though, always have the option to be moving up. Try to get it up to 50, maybe get it up to 60, you know, just so it's really worth your time being with that company and continuing to learn. And maybe if you can get to a percentage where you never have to leave, and then you become partners like I did with mine. So you don't have to always go out on your own. Try to find, you know, if you find a good little percentage and it's enough for you to feed your family and at least have some other people. Loyalty is very important to me, and having the right people around you is very important. And I believe that's a big part of your success. Being out on your own and being alone all the time, that's not going to do it. It's really not going to take you to where you want to go. So make sure you have a good team, and sometimes it's finding the right firm. And that's it. That's it. Find a good firm, and then the rest is history. I can make a whole other video about starting your own firm. I do know about that stuff big time. I was involved in the process even in this one, and I can get into that. But yeah, you're gonna have to pay errors and omissions insurance and all kinds of other insurance. You're gonna have to apply for your own public adjusting firm. You're gonna have to get a physical office, which all costs money. You're gonna have to pay a lease. So, you know, think about all these things before you really want to go out on your own. Send me any kind of messages that you might have, any kind of questions. And if you disagree with anything that I've just said, please, I want to hear your comments because I want to make sure I get it right. My thing is I don't want to talk about anything I don't know about. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got. I don't know how long we've lasted on this one. This one's kind of short. You know why? This is the 3rd time I record this video. Got people walking in all the time. Unbelievable. It's hard, this job. So, all right, feel free. Like I said, follow. Jeez, the battery went out. as I was saying, follow us on social media. We're on LinkedIn. I say we because I got a team here, even like my social media. I've got a guy who's fantastic. His name is Milan. He's the man, and helps me. I also got a girl. Her name's Dahlia. DJ helps me with my claims. So you can't do this stuff on your own. So yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us and get ready. There's even more stuff coming. So I hope you are excited because I am extremely excited about what's to come. So get ready. That podcast. Ooh, I already know who my first interview is gonna be, and it's gonna be awesome. So that's it. That's all I got. Send me some messages. Let me know, and we'll get this party moving. All right, guys. Stay safe. Don't get sick, and we'll see you next time.